Hello, and welcome to 10 Very Big Books, a Malazan Readthrough podcast. My name's Joshua Baker, and I'll be your host today. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep all appendages in the ride the entire way. I don't ride, so I'm not actually sure that's what they say, but here we are. With me today, I don't know where I'm gonna go in. With me today is first our, some would say, smarmy host. That's right, folks, it's Peter Bond.
I hoped it wouldn't have been me, and it was. You hate to hear it.
Next up, some would call her effervescent. Others would call her India Jones.
Oh my God. Hey, it's so great to be here. It's so great to see you all.
And in the booth with the mics, the ones and twos and threes, if you pay him enough. That's right, it's AJ. Couldn't keep it together.
Threes. Hello, I'm here, Josh. I love the radio DJ energy you bring every time you host. It's really great.
Okay,
I'm really glad because I never think it through.
Why did AJ and India get hyped up and I got fucking negged on mic? Okay,
you always got to neg one of the hosts. There's always got to be the host that you introduce. It's like, here's Johnson.
I'm kind of wearing a very blocky top. That's India Jones.
Yes.
Damn, dude.
Peter, you were just really lounged back,
yeah,
and you had your hand in a way as if you were just observing, and I just the word that popped in was smarmy. I don't think that about you, don't worry.
Often,
but others do, so
but others
it was
might
meaner
say
than it meant to be.
Anyway,
possible bits I've prepared. It is,
we could just start the show, you know?
Do an a la carte.
What?
No, let's do a la carte bits. Josh, can you please present them to us?
No, I was gonna say first we could, of course, being so close to Easter Sunday, reflect on the sacrifice made by our Lord and Savior, India.
Can you repeat that?
All right, and then Peter, bit number 2, is the Easter Bunny hiding something?
I dressed up as the Easter Bunny for quite a few years. Not to ruin the illusion for anybody.
Did you hide anything?
Not really, to be honest. I was mostly interactive. Anyway.
Was this like at a camp or like for family?
No, it was at the Quaker Meeting House. So.
Oh, that makes more sense.
It was just something you do in your spare time.
Yeah, funnily, it was usually in August.
I kind of just skulk around in the woods, looking for other bunnies.
And my last bit, AJ, what's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy is 100 grand. But no, Take Five. That's the one with the pretzel and the caramel.
Thank goodness. I was going to say 100 grand's a little too rich for my taste.
Hey-o. No, the Take Five with the pretzel and the caramel and the peanut butter, right? Is that what's in a Take Five? That's so fucking good, dude. I would also just any day of the week eat a payday. So
my bank account would too. Hey, all right. India, favorite candy?
Favorite candy? That's a tough one. For the longest time, and this isn't true anymore, but I'm just gonna say it. It's actually like not my choice of favorite at all. But for the longest time, it was the Almond Joy.
Oh,
love an Almond Joy. Coconut's great.
Like I got them as my family friend gave them for me every year for every holiday, like a whole bag of them because they were my favorite. And you can imagine that I did eat all of them.
Yeah.
For many years, many holidays.
That's surely a way to get sick of a candy. Yeah.
100%. And Peter, what is your father's favorite candy?
Y'all eat in the most fucked up bars over there. Have you not heard of the little gummy little things that they make in all shapes and forms? And
I actually dislike almost all gummies.
I need a name because gummy things
the
that they make in all shapes and forms could
like
legitimately be any gummy candy.
That's what Peter's saying.
The category of gummy candies is a ripe, high-hitting category.
Well, no. Sure. Well, we're all being specific. You have to be specific. And
okay.
TBH, Josh said your dad.
Yeah, it's like if Indy and I were like, we love chocolate bars.
Okay.
Also, I feel I've lived with you before, Peter. I've never seen you eat a gummy.
Okay, Josh, every day I'm coming home with like a full bag of Sour Patch watermelons, and I'm just going to town,
That's insane to me. When we lived together, you mostly ate fucking corn nuts.
I was going to say, no, Pete loves a corn nut. I'm so glad you brought that up.
In general, I prefer a savory treat. It's true. I'm just saying,
I think it's pretty generous to call corn nuts a savory treat and not just like hard salt.
I would call it horse feet.
Corn nuts.
Thank you, India. All right.
I will say I also love a corn nut. So I'm not.
So we all like to nut on the show. We all like to nut. Okay.
I specifically don't like corn nuts and don't approve nutting on the show.
Josh, what is your favorite candy?
Thank you for asking. For a very long time, it was Hershey's Cookies and Cream Bars, but I've recently discovered Hershey's Symphony Bars with almond and toffee, and they're divine.
That sounds fucking delicious. Holy shit.
I got half a bar in my fridge right now. All right. Well, that's enough for that. We're going to read Malazan Book of the Fallen. That's right. It's the Crippled God, and we're diving into Chapter 8.
Book 2.
Oh.
AJ?
What?
You had to do... I was waiting for a sound effect from you.
Oh, wow, that was a missile.
Yeah.
Chapter 8. A child of the snake is horrifically eaten by the shards, who are in turn consumed by the other children. The snake keeps making its way west toward the bone hunters. Shirkalal and company are not happy with their present state of affairs, with their ship stranded on a glacier. Felash feels little remorse for her actions and discusses the possibilities of finding supplies in Amtos Falak with Shirk. Felash sends her handmaiden into a warren, where she finds enemies on all sides. Turns out she's a super badass and handles everything this world throws at her. Then she finds a boat. Back on our normal plane, Shirk and Felash are discussing sex without complications, when a portal opens and out comes a shit ton of trees, and the handmaiden failing to steer her new ship. Silchus Ruin finds himself in a corpse-filled realm, with presumably the dead body of Coltane at its center. Though he searches for a weapon, all he finds are half-dead gods, trapped in this realm and scheming on how to get out of it. Shadowthrone arrives, and we get some perspective on the whole story, it seems, but it's pretty hard to parse out on a first read. Shadowthrone gives Silchus a husked sword, claiming he won't find anything of value in this realm. Silchus is uneasy, as he believes he should recognize all husked swords, but this one's identity escapes him. He proclaims it too valuable for his young apprentice, and Shadowthrone invites him to keep it. A gift to the brother of the man that slayed his greatest adversary. Shadowthrone and Cotillion meet up, and for once seem pretty happy with the state of affairs. Cotillion cryptically mentions that he sent her off to go kill the biggest, meanest one. On the shore, Withel talks with Yed and Derrig, and is not confident in the outcome of the battle to come. But he doesn't have to wait long, as the lightfall begins in earnest. Dragons in the ocean begin to swarm the shore, while Twilight can but look on as her people begin to fight. She will not kneel. Well, as per usual, we're going to start off with, that's right, a child getting eaten alive.
It's wild that that's not the first time this has happened in this series.
No. And is it going to be the last, AJ?
I hope.
Well, I would say we all hope, but I can't presume.
Children are dying,
It is true.
Damn.
Peter.
Yeah.
When you imagine the shards, can you tell me what you are seeing, these
oh my God,
these
Josh,
beings of the desert?
Thanks for bringing it up. It's just, I won't use my words. I don't know. I find the imagery there so cool. It's so otherworldly, and I feel like just I kind of love those types of undescribable landscapes, and just the way they're describing not only the shards, but also just like the way the desert looks around them. I really like this whole biome.
When I read it, what I struggle with is I can't decide if there's literally nothing forever or if there's remnants of things everywhere, they're just too old to be of use. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Like they find water, and sometimes I feel like they talked about trees, but I imagine like the husks of trees, and like not big ones, like small things kind of just like interrupting the landscape. And I don't know what's scarier, like that or absolutely nothing forever. I think it's that. I think the nothingness would be scarier. But then where would the shards come from? So it's got to be some kind of trees.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like those kind of details and the way it's described just to distinguish it from other like very more like sandy desert settings that we've had in the book.
Yes.
So I think just to differentiate, and also it being alien to me kind of makes sense since they're on this kind of otherworldly journey in a way.
AJ, what do you think besides snakes of children for feasting is like feeding and keeping this ecosystem alive? Because it keeps being called the Wastelands, but clearly there is life here. It's just very predatory.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've kind of nailed it saying that it is just predatory, because I think it is just like predators feeding on predators feeding on predators. You know what I mean? It's just like it's this like kind of horrific circle of life, but the circle is also just like crossed through with like, well, these things eat these things, then they eat these things, but also if we go straight across 180 degrees on the other side of the circle, this thing also eats that. So I think it's just kind of an ecosystem that is like kept alive by just like cannibalizing itself in some ways.
That is, I feel like that's so accurately put, and also horrifying.
Yeah, well, it's like an oppressive place, right? You know, like it's desert but worse. So it's just like what is worse than like weird sand bugs? I don't know. I can't even tell you. Shards, I guess.
So India, we're gonna go over to Shirk and the gang now. Do you think you side with Shirk more in this situation of being kind of upset her boat's stuck forever, or are you with Felash like, well, I saved you, so?
I mean, I don't ever take any of these scenes seriously, so it feels kind of like a joke, but I'm always with Shirk.
Always with Shirk. That's fair. And do you have any predictions, any suspicions as to what her handmaiden or who her handmaiden might really be? Because she is fucking ridiculous in these chapters.
Genuinely, no. I don't. I have no idea.
AJ, anything from you?
No, and I'm going to pull a classic Pete here, but I want to talk about something else really quick.
Okay.
AJ gets it. Just
in the last smarmy Pete.
Just in the last section, Badal's, I think, POV is always very interesting, and I love the way that POV is written, usually, very poetic, etc., all that kind of stuff. And I think this born becomes held becomes mother makes born is held, etc., etc., etc. I think that is just like, I don't know. It's not new imagery. You know, we've talked about cycles in these books a whole bunch. But I just think, I just liked that writing. So I did just want to shout that out.
Yeah, that passage is like kind of confusing, but also like the more I looked at it, the sadder I got.
Yes.
In some ways, Yeah. And I also still personally cannot tell if Held is alive or even a baby,
Well, Held was born, Josh. And someday maybe Held's eyes will change color and they will be born again.
Right.
But also maybe their mother, and then they'll have a born. So does that clear it up?
Yes, nailed it. And then Peter, since we know that the children are heading while we're back on the children for a second, I completely forgot to ask, who do you think would be the better mom to a snake full of children? Do we think it's Tavor or Kindly?
Jesus.
I'm actually going to defer because I have something I want to talk about later that's related to this. So
okay,
wow.
We'll push that. We'll put a pin in that one. We'll circle back later.
Okay, I'm now kind of thinking through what I said. I just want to say it's a loose, if any, relation. Loose.
And when you say later, you mean like we haven't read it yet?
No. We've talked later in this episode.
Okay, all right, that's fine. We'll come back to it then. I guess there's the entire scene where the handmaiden is, pounding through demons or whatever, and also killer ferrets. Was that what they are?
Voles, I believe.
Voles. Yeah. I don't like most animals. I don't like any animal that doesn't have a pupil. And so voles fall into that category, and the idea of voles that are like deadly is truly awful to me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get that on the record.
That part was sick. I think it was super rad. Because we haven't seen... Sorry, she has a name, doesn't she?
I don't know, AJ. I wanted to use a name in the summaries, and I can't think of it.
Maybe they just call her the handmaid or handmaiden. Because I'm seeing
Felish has to say her name to her at some point, but their scenes together are so brief.
I don't know. It might not, and maybe that's a purposeful choice, or we're just silly. If so, tweet at us. Anyway. We haven't seen her actually do anything. We've seen like, you're going to do something, right? And she'll be like, yes. And then we'll come back and it'll be after the thing has been done. Right. Or like, after the thing she has done and then the aftermath of it. But now we're like, okay, we're going to Amtos Falak. Let's actually go with her and see what's up in this new POV, which is fun. And yeah, that's just it's fucking cool. So there you go. I said it.
Pretty rad.
Pretty rad.
Any other thoughts anyone has on these initial Shirk scenes? Well, I'm fine to move on and ask this question, which is, when we were in the Silches scene, I personally immediately kind of, I don't want to say checked out, but I began sort of skimming anytime we have to deal with a lot of like half-dead gods. And so when I was writing the summaries and the Torah rereads, like, and then there's Coltane's body because it's described and then they write what is described. And I was like, how the fuck did I miss that? AJ and India, did you pick that up? Because I definitely missed that it was Coltane's body.
I definitely did not pick up on that.
Yeah.
The remnants of a body hung from it. Flesh in shreds. Black hair hanging down over the desiccated face. I feel like that's not enough information for us to know
more.
That.
There's
idea.
More.
Okay.
There's a part about manacled to a cross with an arrow hole in the forehead.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. It's somewhere in there. It is very clear, and I was like, felt so dumb.
That's sad.
Interesting though. Did anyone have any opinions or thoughts on the fact that the fall of Coltane, this sort of monument to him that exists somewhere, is kind of pulling in these gods that some of these names we've heard of. I think there's Decembre. Who
the Lord of Tragedy, if you will.
The Lord of Tragedy, yes. There's another name that we've heard.
Beru, baby. Beru's there. Beru's
Fend. Yes. Some interesting names in there. Any thoughts, India, on the power of Coltane, maybe, and how he's dragging these gods to him?
Well, Josh, I wish that I had any. No, maybe ask me a different question.
I can't. I'm trying to throw you better questions than that one. I don't have really anything to say either, other than kind of cool. I don't really know what it means yet, though.
Yeah, it didn't hit for me. Because I didn't know what was going on. I still kind of don't. The whole scene.
And Peter, can you help me real quick? Because I mentioned just Decembre, and half of him is on Earth, they said. Can you remind me who that half is? Do we know who that half is?
Yes.
I mean, is it Decembalakis?
Oh. Is it who?
Decembalakis?
I was wondering that, but I can't remember who Decembalakis is.
Yeah, of course, you're always having me tripping. We've met Decembre. I don't know what you're talking about with the halves on different things. Decembre is Decimal Tor.
Yes, okay. I knew something. I wanted to say that, but then isn't Decimal Tor also the first sword?
Yes.
Okay. So how is it that he is walking around on Earth, but then there's this other half of him in this realm, but also then in a later thing we'll talk about, Tool's talking about, him being the first sword. Like this guy seems to be being pulled in 3 separate directions.
Well, I think the Tool thing's a little different, but I don't really follow you with whatever you're getting caught on. To me, I don't know. I mostly read this scene as like kind of not physical. It's not like our real world.
Right.
Not like the real world of the books.
I wish I had the book in front of me. I don't, damn it.
So I'm not caught up on whatever splitting or like if he's technically there or not. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's like an Elden Ring situation where like it's his spirit is in one spot, but then his physical body is another spot, but then also the memory of him is in another spot. You know?
Am I right, gamers?
Am I right, gamers? While Josh looks for that quote, Silch's Ruin asks for a sword and is given a very cool sword. It sounds like.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking sick.
Husk sword.
A Husk sword. Yeah. Who else has a Husk sword currently?
Here it is.
Oh, okay.
Shadowthrone makes reference to the fact that part of Dacenbray wanders the mortal world and the worst of him remains there. That's a thing Shadowthrone says to Dacenbray.
Interesting.
Yes. I knew I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, I think I still read that as not a literal thing. Do you know what I mean? Is it
okay?
Is he saying that he's like retained a connection to his humanity or something?
I definitely think it's a literal thing.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine.
I don't know.
So you were saying on this Husk sword, AJ, sorry.
Yeah, well, somebody else has one. And who is that?
That would be the Husk sword that Yed and Derek found on the first shore. And the Husk sword is the sword that was thrown into the water by, I thought Silch's Ruin, but I think we agreed it was somebody else. And I can't remember who we agreed it was.
Could not tell you.
Back at the original battle at the shore.
Sure.
There is that mention of after the battle, they throw a broken sword in the water. But there is I believe that's the Husk sword that is picked up by Yed and Derek. But then there's this one here. And the Husks, it seems like, are either just a variety of sword or maybe the people who made the sword. Unclear. Probably doesn't matter. Probably just a word Steve picked to differentiate these swords, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's definitely like a category of a type of sword.
Yeah. And now India. I know we've not gotten to this yet, but I want to do a little role play of the scene when Silch's Ruin comes back to boy whose name starts with an R that Peter's going to remind me of name of. Rudalal.
Okay.
Rudalal, is that his name?
Yes, Rudalal.
Nailed it. Okay, so India, I'm going to be you're going to be Rudalal, and I'm going to be Silch's Ruin. Okay, I'm going to come back after having found a sword for you. Ready?
Okay.
Rudalal, I've returned. Sorry, hold on. Silch's Ruin. That's right. Silch's Ruin. Hello, Rude. I'm back.
Hey.
The mission to get a sword was a success.
Tell me about it.
Well, you're gonna take one of my old swords.
Oh.
And then stage directions, you notice a really fucking sick new sword that Silch's Ruin has.
Wow. Exactly.
All right, India's too pure for this. I was hoping India would show a little bit of jealousy or a little bit of like
scene. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to one of our master classes here on the 10 Very Big Books Podcast Network. You can get that type of voiceover audio acting advice.
It had kind of an avocado. Thanks. Energy to it.
That's what it was.
You've dated yourself. I was just getting at, I'm curious if when Silch's Ruin returns with a badass new sword and then just gives one of his old ones to Rudalal, if that's going to create a little bit of a divide between the two.
I'm sure
I thought you were my cool uncle.
You know, I just wish I would have gotten a script beforehand.
I'm sorry. This director's a little tough. They love the improv.
I understand.
It's like Curb, you know? Shadow Throne Cotillion, does anyone have further ideas what they're up to?
Well, there's this whole thing on I sent her off to get the biggest, meanest one. That's got to be Absalar, right? Absalar's on her way to kill somebody.
I'm fucking hoping so.
Right? But who's the biggest, meanest one?
Mysteries remain. This brings me to the section that is Yed and
You just
Derek.
wanted to get through that to get to the end part.
Do we all love Yed and Derek or not?
Yeah.
He's a little fatalist for me.
Wow.
Oh man, I just took the wind out of Pete's sails. I love Yed and Derek, Pete.
Yedin's great, and all this stuff is good. My official opinion.
What did you like so much about it?
India, it's a great question. And now never before have I been so seriously like, wait, am I going to love Carcanis? Do you know what I mean? Which is
my God.
Which is not like a thought I really had up until rereading The Crippled God this time around. And I thought it the second time around, and now I'm thinking on the third. And like, I don't know, these sections are popping so hard to me personally, probably the most of the book. And then we can talk more, but I just think Withel is such a great character. I love his and Sandala Truecorlat's relationship. Then the central kind of Jan Tova storyline works great for me. I don't know. I'm just going on and on, but I am so into it. And also everything on the first shore is fucking badass as hell, my opinion.
Yeah.
What about the part where he's eating cheese? Like
fucking eats it in a cool, hot way. Okay.
It is. Yeah, AJ, because it wasn't cool until Withel's like, I didn't think we'd had any cheese. And it's like, Jan and Derek ate the last bite.
Plopped the last bit into his mouth, chewed a moment, swallowed, and then said, we don't.
Yeah, that's fucking hard. All right.
I do love it.
Peter, it's very good, very over the top. So the plans to let a dragon get half through, right? We're going to fall back enough that the Leosian have enough space to get a dragon half through. And then that's when we weren't getting pushed back. We'll kill all of them, trap the dragon, and use its magic to seal the portal. Foolproof. I see no room issues for improvements.
Yeah.
One small caveat, Pete, and I know you're kind of yetting Derek standing right now. Who's fighting that dragon in your mind?
I have no official comment.
But like, if you had to pick someone.
Yeah, why do you
I have no official... I have, because India, I've read this book before, actually.
Do you have any unofficial comments?
Yeah. Here, Peter. Hey, AJ, use the ones and twos. We're not recording. Everyone agrees we're not recording right now, right?
Is this off the record?
This is off the record. We said it. That's legally binding. All right?
Okay.
Peter, who would you want to fight? Who would you want to fight the dragon?
Waluigi.
Oh, God damn it.
We got him.
I didn't know you had a soundboard, AJ.
Discord has introduced a soundboard, and it's gonna be bad.
You shouldn't have told me that.
I'm sorry.
Soundboard.
I noticed it. I noticed it like 20 minutes ago, and I was like, I cannot say a word, but this was too good of a setup.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna find so many sounds to add to this goddamn soundboard.
Unfortunately, I think having a soundboard would make us all enjoy making the show way more, but make the audio of the podcast absolutely
almost unlistenable. I think that was pretty good.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
I'm so excited.
All right. Time to thank everyone who supports us on Patreon.
Hold on. We're not going to talk about Twilight seeing everything go to shit and be like, no, fuck this. We're going to fight? Because that's also hard as hell. Are you, what?
It is pretty good, but like, AJ, what's she going to do if not kneel and just give her blood to the shore? Anytime anyone has ever said, Josh, I need your blood right now,
for the shore.
I've given it. It doesn't matter. Anytime someone's needed my blood, I give it.
How are you guys feeling about Jan Tovis in this moment with the kneeling? India, how do you feel about that decision?
I feel like, well, I would kneel. Would you kneel? I would kneel. Would you not? Would all of you not kneel?
AJ, go first. I have long thoughts.
I mean, if I was Atrapita Jan Tovis, also known as Twilight, my moral compass and sense of duty, I believe that I would not kneel. But if you're asking AJ, I don't think I would be alive still.
Okay. That's facts. That's facts. Well, if we're
AJ's
thinking,
gonna say I'll have died.
I will have died.
I'll start with, I'm a people pleaser. You know your boy would kneel.
I would definitely kneel. 100%.
But what I want to say is I love this scene because there's so much in this book series about the repetitive, cyclical nature of humanity and empires. And I love that in this book, there seem to be two women examples of fighting against that. And I see one of them, obviously, as Tavor with her whole thing. And there's way more. I mean, like, most of these armies are led by women. But I really like this scene of Twilight saying, my people did this once and look where it led us. There's nothing history has shown me to at all prove to me that this doesn't lead us anywhere other than being cast out again as some, misguided half-breed. And so she will not kneel. The shore needs her more than she needs it, Mm. And I love it. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Mm.
Rousing speech, Josh.
Thank you.
So we're all kneeling.
Yeah. We're all kneeling.
At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of kneelers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need it. Yeah.
Let's see, is there a Neil soundboard?
No, Jesus Christ, man.
All right, let's take. God damn it, we're going to the Patreon, and away. All right, this week's patrons that we're excited to just kind of like fucking hype up, you know, because they're cool people doing cool stuff with their money.
Yeah.
Those people are Andrew, Wesley, and John.
Thank you so much for your support. As always, if you want to check out our Patreon, there's stuff up there. But now let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 9. Tak finds the corpse of a woman with no feet, hint hint, but realizes her soul is gone. He receives a vision from someone. It's pretty weird, but when it's over, he takes the corpse with him and opens his eye that isn't actually there. There's a scene of a woman on a horse next to a huge guy on a horse. It's kind of confusing. Torrent and company are still having a bad time with Olar Athil, who is growing irritated by Tool's refusal to heed her summons. She resorts to threatening to harm his children, but somehow Tak is able to interrupt her mental threats and warns her against it. She laughs at his threats until she runs into a group of undead riders blocking her path. That's right, y'all, Whiskey Jack is back, and he chases her away. Unfortunately for Torrent, that leaves her mad, and he's the easiest target for her anger. There's a lot of shit here with Tool and other Talana Mass. Tool's angst is at risk of killing those he leads. The sheer power of his anger is too much for them to withstand. He reflects on Logros and his exile after being ordered to surrender the title of First Sword to Dasim Ultor. There's a ton of exposition here, and it's all incredibly sad. The vibes are not tight with the Talana Mass. Gruntle is in a cave, thinking about being a tiger, and how they're kind of shittier than the other animals that later war gods took as their own. What on earth is his story leading towards? Mappo flashes back to one of Ikarium's accidents and the aftermath. His childlike confusion is so upsetting, and Mappo just redirects him to the next place, the next task, and it's heartbreaking. Faint and her group find the trail of the armies and set off to catch up with the one that's least likely to be their death. Setak rides with her wolves to the Beast Hold, embracing her role as Destrian. We see the Forkle assails ambitions through the eyes of one of their own, Equity. Even within these justice-focused monsters, factions rise and fall. Sister Reverence comes upon Shirk's group and a fight ensues. Several crew members are killed with no effort, but the Handmaiden is another story. The fight is vicious, and even with the assail's voice throwing her back, the Handmaiden does not surrender. A brief ceasefire ensues, and Reverence demands that the group tell her where the Jagat is. Everyone is confused by this, but knowing they can't defeat Reverence, Falash plays ball and opens up Amtos Falak. To the shock of everyone, Hood steps out. Reverence quickly tries to mentally communicate what she's seeing to Calm, but then Hood literally eats her fucking face off. Absolutely metal way to end a chapter.
So we start off with Tak really in his own feelings, thinking about a lot of things that happened in his life, doing so over a corpse that this guy over here was too dumb to realize whose it was. And when when the Tor reread told me who it was, I went back and reread it, and I was like, well, fuck me. This is now so much even worse and more sad.
Yeah.
And yeah. India, do you think there's hope for our boy Tak? Do you think he redeems himself?
Yes, I think he redeems himself because this is a story about compassion. I just have a feeling that it's going to be a positive ending.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I like that.
Let's be clear about, is this what's Hetan?
This is Hetan's body.
That's what I thought.
What I
thought.
Yeah.
I thought because of the missing feet situation. I'm kind of shocked that you missed that.
But look, I'm usually pretty
really
quick on the uptake.
That you missed that.
When I read both this and the Coltane thing, I was like, was I just not fucking reading these chapters? Like, what's up? I was a little upset with myself.
The Coltane, I didn't get either. But,
yeah,
charred woman, no feet. There's only one.
Yeah.
There's only the one.
That is true. And AJ, when he opened up his eye that's not there.
Yeah.
The Tor reread called it his wolf eye, and I like with a capital W, and I was like, is this a thing we know he can do? You know what I mean?
Well, we knew his other eye could see things that his regular eye can't. I forget. I think that's Reaper's Gale, maybe.
No, you're right. That is ringing a bell.
We know that he had like special powers in that bad eye. I don't remember if we know that it's exclusively connected to the wolves, but I could see that being a thing that's like, well, yeah, this one looks like a wolf eye. But it says, this one says, but the end of the section says, then opened the missing one. So I feel like
because the missing one is that's the wolf eye. Like
I know, but I feel like if it was like, then if it was his wolf eye and there was like an eye in there, it wouldn't say the missing one.
Right, that's what confuses me.
Yeah, that's what confuses me also. But we do know that his other eye, his bad eye, whatever.
His eye, that is torn out or whatever.
Can like see, through realms or something.
All right.
I don't know.
And now I have just seen through realms. I have just decided on a called shot. I know we don't have much of this book series left, but I was just sitting here and I was like, pretty crazy that we have so many wolf characters, right? We've got these gray helms that are wolfy. We've got a little bit later Setok, who's very wolfy. I was like, crazy that Tok is too. And then I was like, oh, maybe Tok's just going to become the shield anvil after Tanakallion dies horribly somehow based on later events that we've seen. And then he just becomes the new shield anvil of them, of the wolf gods. That would be fucking wild. But I guess he's also in service to Hood. So it's a toughie.
Definitely a toughie.
Little bit of a toughie. I don't know, but there's too many wolves in this story. Actually, I take it back. Never too many wolves.
I was going to say, I'm pretty hyped with how many wolves are in this chapter specifically, actually.
Yes. And India, would you say you're a lone wolf?
No.
More of an alpha, a beta?
No, I've always been called an alpha, literally. So I definitely am an alpha.
Well, that's in your Twitter bio.
Yeah. Is it?
No, but I just love the idea.
I couldn't tell if it was a gag or not either.
No, I just love the idea of it's like India Jones, New York, alpha.
Alpha.
Period.
Let me actually add that.
The wolf science has been disproven, just so we all know.
That's true.
That sounds... I'm going to choose not to believe you because I love the wolf science. So.
I'm just saying it's just not up to date.
Yeah.
With maybe our understanding of...
this whole Tok section is extremely sad, even removed from the Hatan stuff. Tok is just really sad. The part where he's talking to the old woman and he smells wax in the fire, like, is this a reference to the wax witches from fucking Gardens of the Moon? Like, what are we doing?
Oh my god. Wait, when's that even happen?
He sees a lady sitting in front of a fire.
In his vision.
Yeah, and she rips out her eye, throws it in. It's like, do you smell that? Is wax in the fire? Like, okay, this lady's a wax witch, I guess.
Okay, God, there was a wax witch in the very first fucking chapter.
Yes, the first like 10 pages of the book.
Part of me wondered, didn't he call her mother in one part or something? Am I crazy? He calls her a thing, and I almost wondered if he was talking to Silver Fox. I don't know why I thought that necessarily. I'm trying to remember. I'm going back to the reread.
I do feel like I also got some Silver Fox vibes, and I don't remember why. That might have been from Tool, though.
No, I think not. The words, because loose the wolf within you, and one day you shall find her. I wonder maybe if it's the wolf, release the wolf and you'll find her. Maybe he's trying to track down Hatan's soul somewhere and bring her back. Or at least in the afterlife, reunite her with Tool if he, gets his rest.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's very confusing.
Yeah. Then the lady says love lives here and keeps calling him Ghost, and the book puts a capital G. So that's fun. Is Tok about to get a new name? Like, what's happening?
I don't know. Crazy stuff.
Anyway.
And almost as inscrutable as that, and I would actually, let me rephrase, even worse than that is the next scene of two people on horses in a warren somewhere.
Yeah.
Any guesses? Maybe, I don't know, maybe the girl is Apsalar because she has been sent somewhere.
Right.
But like,
to deal with
who would she be with? And man, now I say it, man, what if it's Kalam? What if it's downtown Kalam coming back? He was saved. Apsalar. What if it's the two greatest fucking assassins of this goddamn book series riding side by side?
Yeah. She'd ridden into the face of sandstorms. Gods she damned near spat into the face of the whirlwind itself. Which feels like a clue.
That does feel like a clue. I mean, Apsalar was there in book 2. And
the whirlwind happened?
The whirlwind happened, in book 2 and 4, 2 and 4.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where she was in book 4. She was somewhere around there in 4 because she met up with Perrin and all that shit, maybe? Guys, that'd be fucking nuts if that's Kalam and Apsalar going somewhere.
Yeah.
There might be too much of a called shot, though, but I can hope.
Now I want to, dive into this discussion.
Yeah.
It's
Peter, can I just, look ahead real quick?
He says, it's good to see you again. And she says, you idiot. Does he even know you're here?
Oh, my God. It's fucking gotta be Apsalar and Kalam. Because Cotillion knows he sent Apsalar, and she's like, does he know you're here? So he, oh, my God.
Yeah, but were they bros? Were Apsalar and Kalam bros?
I thought they were enemies.
No, but they were friendly. They were in Seven Cities together.
I don't remember anything about their relationship. India said they're enemies. I don't remember a single thing about their interactions.
In book 2, they reconciled somewhat on that trip when they were going through trying to find the Azeth house. The dead.
I need to know.
The one in book 2.
India, don't do it.
India's got a wiki face if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
I'm going down a W hole.
Watch it, India.
Anyway, it's a K hole, but it's W-I capital K Wikipedia.
Hole.
Oh my God, AJ.
That's all right. That's
anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, please. All right.
Wiki hole.
Yeah.
Wiki.
Oh, a keyhole. I get it. What do you think most DJs name their son?
Eric?
Kid told me that today. It's very funny.
That's good. It's a good one.
That wasn't good.
We gotta keep going.
All right. Let's move on.
A little manic today. I'm so sorry.
AJ, there's several scenes with Olara Thiel here. First, there's a conversation she has with Torrent, and we see a little bit about the dynamic in that camp. And then she reaches out and makes contact with Tool, and there's a longer conversation there. How are you feeling about Olara Thiel, and which one of these interactions stood out to you?
I didn't really I've reached a point with the Olara Thiel scenes where they're all kind of just and now Olara Thiel's going to be mean and yell at somebody for 4 pages and then going to assault Torrent in some way. Yes. And that's how this section's going to end. So that's the stuff she's saying is interesting, I suppose, but it just feels like we are retreading some of the same ground kind of over and over and over again, especially with Tool, because it's hey, do the stuff I want you to do, and Tool's no, and she's you idiot, I'm gonna make you do it, and he's no, and then that's it. That's what the sections are. I did think it was cool when Talk was don't do that, shakes finger, and she's
yes.
Fuck you, you can't tell me what to do. And Tool's if you hurt my daughters, I'll literally turn you into a shard of glass. I will condense your fucking dust body down into a shard of glass, and then throw you into the ocean. I thought that was cool. But no, that's all I got from these Olara Thiel sections. She's just rude and then attacks Torrent, and then we move on.
I totally hear what you're saying, AJ. I think there's a similar vibe. But I think she's
so unlikable.
I think she's a great villain. She's really standing out to me.
It's definitely a good villain, and the parts are definitely well written, and I enjoy reading them and stuff. I just feel we've been twiddling fingers of evil fingers for a while now, and I'm let's do something with her.
Yeah,
the fight she got in with
that's a cool fight.
That's a cool fight. The fight she got in the last book, that's sick. And I was okay, cool. We're actually doing something, but now we're just back to where we were with some extra characters.
Do you think any part of her has Power Rangers villain energy?
100%.
She's Rita
Repulsa.
She if not Rita Repulsa? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's how she talks too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find any. Hold on, I need to find a quote now.
While you're looking for a quote, I do want to say if there's anything good about her, it's that we get to see Whiskey Jack.
To understand when I seek for you and all your kin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a good Rita.
I was going to say, I don't think I have a good...
Honestly, that was better than I expected.
We refuse!
Oh, AJ, that's a good Rita.
Anyway.
We do get to see a little Whiskey Jack coming back with the gang. There's just a lot of undead people on this continent right now. Mm-hmm. I'm a little uncomfortable with it. I do also wonder, like, where's the rest? I know a lot of those undead armies didn't fare that well at last book, but where are they all at? Yes, India.
I just want to say that if I knew that in these books you could die and come back, it would have been a lot less upsetting when said characters died.
Yeah, I wish there was no reason to cry in Memories of Ice.
None.
I said it.
I still think, even if they come back, I still think those deaths are upsetting.
For what? They're back. They're fine. And you know what?
Well,
he's so in love.
I'll push back a little bit, India, because they're dead still.
I'm sick of it.
Now, if at the end of this book, if they just get to come
Hedge
fucking all the way
isn't
back.
dead anymore. Is Hedge still dead?
Well, Hedge is touche.
Hedge is an edge case. But that's kind of also Hedge's whole thing. It's like, oh, I was dead and now I'm not, and this kind of sucks. I kind of hate it, actually.
Drama.
And it's kind of the opposite with Tool, right? He was undead and then was alive and then almost dead again, and now he's kind of run the gamut. And
Talk too.
Talk also has a weird like resurrection cycle.
Yeah, Talk's a very interesting case. India, I really agree with you in a lot of ways. To me, ultimately, I don't feel that bothered by it, but I do think you're correct that like the majority of the time, 70% of the time, they're going to come back or something. And then what's tough is like, there is like a 30-40% of characters who die and like that's the end of their story, full stop. You know?
Seems a little unfair.
But I do agree. But the thing is, Josh, feel like that those sections still really move me. And I'm not like, I don't feel like I shouldn't have cried in book 3. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So
no, I was just going for the bit. It's still real sad.
All right, whatever. Don't fall back on this, Josh. This is bullshit.
Stand to your guns.
India.
If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
Nailed
there
it.
You go.
Let's go. God, I'm going to get that tattooed right on my chest. I would say a lot of this book series have done a very good job with incomprehensible sadness. But we're in book 10, and it's a little much now with Tool. But on top of it, there was a lot of exposition about the low gross. AJ, do you feel like we need this book 10 low gross exposition for something? Or do you think Steve was like, I had all this really good lore. I gotta get it out there.
Josh, I've got to tell you, I retained none of it. So
yeah.
So that's kind of where I end up with the low gross lore. So was there anything particularly interesting that you wanted to pull out and like kind of wave in front of my face?
No, I want to know if you think it's going to be important or if Steve was like, I've got notes.
I feel like maybe it'll be important. Like,
pause, AJ. Peter is fully in their room, muted, absolutely having a blast. And it's really a pleasure to watch.
No, they're not muted. They're just mouthing words.
Ooh, Lord.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ooh, Lord. Tug tilt.
Ooh, Lord. Tug tilt.
Ooh, Lord. Tug tilt. That's right, baby.
Christ.
Yeah, that I was just looking ahead. I agree with a lot of what you said, Josh, but I'm just my guy's coming up. I see him right around the corner bend, you know?
He's right there.
I can almost touch him.
We can jump to that, Peter. I actually just fully skipped over it in my summary because I just kind of grouped it together with
Josh. Not a ton happens, but every time he steps on screen, my eyes perk up.
And can you tell me,
why?
In, I don't know, 7 words, what about Ulag Tug Till really gets you going?
Well, Ulag's a maverick.
1.
He's a self-starter.
2.
And motivated.
3. Wow.
Great resume on Ulag.
And that's
you said everything and nothing.
That's why I think he would be a big asset to your organization.
How does he deal with conflict?
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is this, Ulag is a diplomatic person. And he tries to understand both sides of the conversation, focus on outcome-oriented suggestions.
Mm-hmm. And do you think Ulag has a talent for sort of ingratiating himself or sort of assimilating into a larger organization in order to feel at home with the rest of the crew here?
No. As I said earlier, Ulag's a maverick. And if you bring him on board, he will kind of disrupt the organization and kind of bring it in a new direction.
He's a disruptor.
Because he doesn't play by everyone else's rules, and that's what's brought him this huge track record of success.
Yeah.
Also, I'm dying. Can we stop this bit? My whole body hurts. I don't want to do it.
Are you sick or something?
No, I just hate business. I don't want to. I don't want to be job interview at night.
Okay. All right. We'll jump. Whew, we're in a cave. What's that? Gruntle's there. It's tigers, lions, bears. Oh, anyway, what do you think India is the superior animal of war? We're gonna do real quick brackets. Tiger versus boar.
Boar.
All right, AJ, you've got boar versus wolf.
Boar.
All right, Peter, you've got boar versus man.
Boar.
All right, folks. That's 3 out of 3. Bring them in, ladies and gents. All right, can you give me some boar noises here, AJ?
I'll do you one better.
That's right. Banner. All right. I didn't think when we met Gruntle in book 3 that 7 books from now he'd be thinking, maybe Tiger isn't the most badass. It's just a really interesting take.
Tiger kind of sucks.
Yeah. Could have fucking tusks. I'm going to just jump through a few things.
I'm fine to move on past that section. I did just want to say the whole Gruntle thing, and we could talk about it a little later with the parish stuff. Just like the whole like various gods of war, people observing war from these different points of view and all these kind of organizations or orders dedicated to them. And this kind of changing of the different gods of war throughout the last books. And then you see this is actually very present in this final volume as well, has really kind of been on my mind recently as I've been reading it. So
nice.
Just wanted to share.
I'm going to tie up a couple loose ends here. So we have Mappo, some flashbacks, really sad, but still beautiful, the relationship with the Carrion.
Yeah.
So he's on a path. He's on a path to be theoretically in conflict, I believe, with the Forkless Sail in some way because they have a Carrion, right? That's him. Faint and that group, wherever their importance may be, still on their path to, I believe they're trying to follow the ones not going through the desert. So they would theoretically be linking up with either the Marines or the other allied armies. We have Setok riding with her wolves to the Beast Hold. Probably pretty important given what happens next chapter. And then we get to the super metal scene. And really the focus is on this reveal that Hood is here and for all intents and purposes maybe alive for the first time in quite some time. And if not alive, certainly he seemed less spectral. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's kind of the vibe I got from it. India, you were speaking before on your thoughts on, the impermanency of death. What do you think it says about a universe where the god of death is able to avoid his own fate?
Yeah, it just doesn't really seem there are no rules, and I just don't like when there are no rules. That's how I feel.
But like, who makes the rules,
The writer of the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, if we're talking about the book, then yes.
Yes,
no, I understand. That. No, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess people don't have to die in this fucking Malazan world, and that's fine. And the god of death can also come back to life and not be dead, but still be a god of death. How does that make sense? Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there even a place anymore? Or nobody dies anymore? Like, what the fuck is going on?
So that's what I had sort of brought up earlier, India, is I think that's a big question I personally have after the events of 2 books ago. Is that 2 books? No, last book. Fuck.
Well, it depends what event you're talking about.
No, from Toll the Hounds.
Yeah, the fight was 2 books ago.
Two books ago. Yeah. That's fucking nuts. What happened last book? Anyway, that's how I feel some days. I feel like after that fight from 2 books ago, seeing Hood, I guess, what was it? He died, went into the sword. No, Rake died, went into the sword. Hood was killed first, though. Is that what? Am I remembering that correctly, AJ?
Hood was killed. No, because I think
Hood does die.
Yeah, but didn't Hood like come to get Rake or something? Oh God.
Peter, can you remind us possibly some of the stuff from Toll the Hounds?
I don't know if the exact order really matters.
My memory is that Animander Rake shows up.
Yeah.
He walks up, kills Hood.
That's what I was trying to remember. Okay.
Then he goes, finds Dassam Altor.
Yes.
The two of them duel.
Yes.
Dassam deflects the sword into Animander.
Yes. That's right. Because Hood shows up and it's like, Hood's here, stab, and that's it. Like that's the.
Yeah, it's a very quick. I think he may even cut his head off.
I don't remember how.
Yeah, sure. I can't remember. Okay, and I'm reading a little bit of the wiki from that book, but we do see Hood at the end of that. But I guess my question is, if you kill the God of Death, is he, and the God of Death was, mobilizing his armies at that time. I guess, India, I don't know. We're coming back to your question of like, are people still going to his realm? If I remember correctly, earlier in this book, we heard that Whiskey Jack was guarding his realm.
Yeah, we do see Whiskey Jack, etc., in front of the gate. Like, hey, this is our job now.
No entry, right? No, I can't remember.
I don't remember.
These books are long.
Yeah,
forgive us, please.
I feel like Hood being dead doesn't necessarily mean that Death is gone. It just means that Hood is no longer the God of Death, quote unquote. Because I don't feel like Hood was the first God of Death, right? Like,
I can't remember that. Well, okay. So that's a good question, and I had forgotten about this, but in this scene, the Forklift Sale says to you, or says, the Jaghut made him their king, and he was the king of the Jaghuts that fought against death itself. And that led to him becoming the God of Death. So that meant that maybe before Death was unchecked or had no god or no form, unclear.
Yeah.
I don't really know if we have a good idea, and if we did, it was 2 books ago, so it's hard to say. But I gotta say, I don't know if there's any other god I'd want on my team than Shadow Throne, Cotillion, and Hood. That seems like a pretty fucking tight trio to have on your side.
Yeah.
Also pretty interesting. I mean, Indy, I know you've not read, the most fantasy, but I wonder if you've noticed this sort of interesting factions being made where the quote-unquote good guys in this story, no, they're the good guys in this story. The good guys in this story are the gods of death, shadow, and assassins. And from what we see, the good guys are like, the god of light, the new god of light, because the old one that was kind of, the bad guys are the god of light, and it's kind of really setting up an interesting, it's not the most in-depth thing, but it is a nice change of pace.
No, I didn't think of that. I didn't notice that. That is an interesting... but to be fair, it took to consider anyone good guys versus bad guys here is like kind of my thing because, they all did some pretty shitty shit. Granted, I guess like if you're looking at the larger picture, they are the good guys, but yeah. I think what I'm learning here is that, there's levels to this shit. You're not all good. You're not all bad.
Yeah.
And that's my takeaway.
Any closing thoughts, Peter? Any questions you want to pose about this final big reveal in this scene?
No, it's cool to learn Jaghut lore. Are we going to talk about the ending now? Or did you want to talk about the Setak stuff?
No, I mean...
10,000 wolves is cool. She needs 10,000 swords, so which means 10,000 wolves with swords. That's fucking sick. Let's go.
Oh my god, we've already have lizards with swords. Can you imagine just 10,000 wolves with a sword in their mouth?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That'd be adorable.
All right, listen, I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, and we hear a lot about plans and like kind of what the past was like in the Forklift Sale. Really cool section. Just wanted to quick say chomp chomp. Chomp, chomp, little snack.
I've learned a lesson in brevity.
Hood coming in for a little chomp, chomp.
And actually, can I say, that's more terrifying to know that any Jagged we've met at any point could just eat a Forkalasail's face. Really puts in perspective how fucking yoked these guys are.
Yeah, well, there's a part here where Reverie gets hit with a sword, and it's like, it just bounces off like they hit a block of metal. And it's like, oh, okay, shit. And he just chomp eats her face.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I always imagine the Jagged tusks as just like almost little vampire fangs, just like little guys hanging out above the lips.
Oh, that's not at all, but I like that image.
So Hood is a jag cut?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
How long have we known that?
Sometimes.
It's sprinkled in, but it's laid on thick in book 8.
When I tell you, I don't view any of these characters as they're described. If you asked me to draw any one of them, I have a feeling they would just not at all look anything like how they're actually described.
I will say the Jagged are the only ones I have an image from, and to me, it's because I've just made them all World of Warcraft orcs.
Yep. Those are World of Warcraft orcs, and then the Teist are different color, are the different elves from World of Warcraft.
The Leosians are blood elves. That's right.
100%.
Guys, they're obviously the trolls. What are you talking about?
The Jagged are the trolls? They're too fucking yoked, dude.
Have you seen the trolls, though? They got that
trolls,
like lean
The trolls
energy.
to me are so gangly. They're closer to goddamn Forkalasail, right? If you told me a troll had bendy elbows.
The trolls are tall. That's one of their things. The Jagged are tall.
Yeah, but if you just scaled up an orc, like...
Yeah.
That's
or is there any, like... Have I missed out on any, like, interspecies relations?
Yeah, there's definitely characters.
Yeah, I mean, Whiskey Jack and Sandalith.
You know, I just don't think that I would ever find a World of Warcraft orc sexy.
Oh, I see.
Oh, well, you've not looked at the right videos, India.
Wow.
I would kiss an orc, to be clear.
I'd let an orc
kiss an orc? How? There's such big mouths, AJ.
Yeah, we just both gotta purse our lips.
You gotta come between the tusks.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do it carefully.
Okay, I just want to say...
Oh, God.
Orc, I'm looking down the Horde playlist. Easily the most kissable race option.
Orc?
Oh,
you know?
Taurens?
Of all the Horde race, well, Blood Elves.
Blood elves, yeah.
Vanilla, Josh, please.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right.
Blood elf?
Peter could never.
You're not going to kiss the Taurens?
That sounds like a big lift, my guy. That sounds like a big lift.
They lift you up because they're all so strong.
I'm learning a lot about AJ.
They lift me up and kiss me in their big arms.
Look, if you've ever listened to my other podcast, Asynchronous, a video game catch-up show, or episode where we play games that we've missed out on, I love a strong person and a lady that has the energy of somebody who could beat me up.
Oh,
so
I understand how you chose your partner. Because Tara would whoop your ass.
It's not about physical prowess, Josh. It is just about the bringing that energy, you know?
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Let's go to chapter 10. All right.
The Jacket ship is cool.
Jacket ship is cool. Chapter 10. Aranict and Breeze are having relationship issues. Mostly due to them being in the absolute most depressing situation imaginable. They ride off to meet with their Kachane Shamal allies. Their standard bearer in tow, holding aloft the new Imperial banner. An incredible copy of Tehol's blanket. The armies meet, and Stormy and Gessler immediately try to shirk responsibility and give command to Breeze. Unfortunately for them, the adjutant gave Breeze explicit commands to make sure that Stormy and Gessler lead their combined force. The allies speak some more, and everyone is creeped out by Sin. Grub, though, is somewhat chiller for once. As they depart, Breeze reveals to Aranict that Stormy and Gessler are as close to becoming gods as he's ever seen. And they are holding on to their humanity for dear life. Aranict and Breeze believe that Grub is their only hope, and that he must be Sin's humanity for their plan to work. Then Breeze breaks down and shares his death journey with Aranek. Finally, we see some positive relationship work in this series. Talk to your partner, people. As the Grey Helm set up camp, Tanakalian springs the trap he has spent so long preparing. He forces Krugava into a verbal spar and has prepared the perfect answer to her every response. She is left reeling, and Tanakalian becomes the de facto leader of their army. To his shock, though, Krugava sets off on her own, saying that when he regains his humanity, she'll be waiting. She goes to Queen Abrastil and Spax, and the three discuss what it is that Tavor could be depending on for her plan to work. Krugava says she has seen it in her dreams. Tavor's ultimate weapon. Compassion. But there is not enough. Folks, we're gonna get into a little game I like to call Who's That Actor? Peter has just sent us a fan casting of Tanakalian, and
Josh,
I'm gonna give you a few films they've been in. I want you to tell me who you think Peter has casted as Tanakalian. You ready?
I think here's what we should do. We should all pick one movie as a hint.
Okay,
I know what movie I'm picking.
Okay.
Me too.
I do too as soon as I find it, remember what it is.
Who gets to go first?
Oh, I got it.
Does the character have to have the energy of...
No, just an actor who's in all these movies.
All right.
Okay, Peter, go first.
They star in the movie Click.
All right. They are an incredible character in Joe Dirt.
They star in the beautiful musical Hairspray.
Fuck, that was mine. Shit. Hold on.
I've got one.
Hold on. I have one that'll break it wide open. They are in a Fatboy Slim music video.
Wow.
Oh,
wow. All right, folks.
Wow.
Lock in your answers. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hit me with it, Peter.
I just think this section's, the Tanakalian stuff's so good in this section. And I know we're jumping right there because we split into this fan casting bit. I don't know how you guys felt. I don't know how suspicious you were
Peter,
about Tanakalian.
you have to say the name of the character. That's why I threw it to you.
You have to say the person.
I was going to get to it.
Okay.
I don't know how you guys felt. I don't know if you were suspicious of Tanakalian. I don't know if you agreed that Christopher Walken would do a great job.
That's right, folks. It's Christopher Walken. Now, if you got that right, you're going to write in to AJ Fileri.
Yeah.
Send them your name and address, and they will get back to you post-haste with your congratulatory postcard.
Satire.
It's a shirtless picture of Josh.
It's fine.
But like, when we talk about...
Lean it.
Yeah, let's talk about the book.
Let's talk about it.
Well, let's start second half second.
Yes. So first half first?
No, I guess I meant second
half first. Okay, thank you. So we're talking about this incredible scene in the Grey Helm's camp. I did not even come close to doing it justice in the recap because it is I would say I've not read a section of this series faster than I read this, because every moment we've spent with Tanakalian, I've been like so on edge, and for it to finally just fucking nut, I was so happy that I just had to get through it. Peter, go.
Oh,
Josh learns the pleasures of edging. That's what your bit is going to be in the show notes this week.
You guys are fucking rowdy today. I was doing me riding the roller coaster roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
You know?
That's never mind.
What was that, India?
I was rowdy, and I took it back and I reined it in.
AJ, did you think during this scene, were you convinced that Tanakalian was going to win? I personally thought that Krugava was going to come out better than she did. How did you feel?
I do have to say, I think if you were to ask me in a fight, in a verbal spar between Tanakalian and Krugava, who would win, I would say Krugava.
100%.
But that was before I read this part of the book.
And I think the big but is, are they in front of a crowd? Because Tantacalion, he had it. He knew.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this moment is unbelievable to me, in such like a mundane way where somebody is just like getting told off, you know, like that's not something that happens in these books a lot, is somebody just like gets their proverbial ass handed to them. Usually it's like Hood comes out of a warren and bites their face off, and it's like, that's fucking sick. But in this one, it's just like the one friend yelled at the other friend so good that it made the other friend sad. That rules. I really liked it, and I would be curious on a reread if I care about the Tantacalion stuff in the last book more, knowing that it comes to this point. Because I think up until now, Tantacalion has been a character that I have been so deeply uninterested in after the initial watching the Destriant melt in the beginning of Dust of Dreams. The rest of Dust of Dreams, I'm like, man, this dude's shady, up to something, but nothing ever really happened, because we just kind of see them, or we kind of just see him like twiddling his fingers like, they don't know that the Destriant turned me away. But to finally have all that stuff aired out, and for Tantacalion to just be like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck everything, you're wrong, and here is XYZY, was so satisfying. Really, really cathartic.
This is such a long time coming. And look, in the grand scheme of this series, there's other things that last longer. But considering this is like one breakneck story from the beginning of Dust of Dreams to this, and it's taken this long for the snap to happen.
Breakneck, we're 1,800 pages into this narrative.
Yeah, it's true. In India, my question for you about this scene is, do you think this is the betrayal that Fiddler warned Tavor of?
That I did not even cross my mind.
Because I have constantly thought that this would be the betrayal. And truthfully, just because of where we are in the book, I'm now like, I don't know if it is. I don't know anymore.
That's a good. I feel like when I think of betrayal, though, I thought of it as a lot more like, I guess, physical. But yeah, this could be.
Yeah, it's a major army that theoretically is just out of the fight, and it's now between the forces we just saw and Queen Abrastal's army. So it's kind of just like, at least as far as, I don't think it's in the lead. I think it's between the other allied armies. So it's a weird spot. Peter, my question for you is, who wins in a fight, the Parish Greyhelms or 10,000 wolves with 10,000 swords?
No comment, of course.
Yeah, that means it's fucking happening, AJ.
Hell yeah.
I agree. It's just fun to resolve that kind of opening scene. And Josh, I will just say it has been, I think, a little easier for me to tune in. I'm like way more tuned into these sections, or like I definitely felt the whole time like, oh, like any of these storylines, like especially something like the Shake. The Shake is another great example from book 9. Sorry, I mean the Snake. Shake too, I guess. These storylines that kind of emerging from the side and you're not quite sure where they're going. It's definitely, all of them have been a little chiller knowing how it's ended up. So yeah, look into it, Josh, if you circle back.
I will consider.
Josh, do you remember the rest of that like prophecy or whatever about the betrayal?
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
Okay, I don't know it.
Okay, that's fine, because I'm just thinking now, like, because you brought up a really good point earlier about all of the, Setok taking her position as Destriant, and Tok being, and your like postulation that Tok could become the Shield Anvil whenever Tantacalion dies or just throws it away, and then they and the 10,000 wolves become the new Greyhelms. It's just pretty interesting.
Be crazy. Would love it. Whew. Big scene. Peter, anything else in here you want to touch upon before we back up a little bit into
No, I'm good. Let's do the first part first.
I made a joke about it, but I truly think this is one of the best. And look, I read a lot of fantasy novels. I would say outside of this series, there's not a lot of great writing being done in the books I read about relationships. But I thought this was like a really, really, really well done section on these two people whose relationship in some ways sprung up quickly due to circumstances and stresses in their lives, making maybe it was a little bit nice to have somebody. And for them to like really open up in this way, especially for Breeze, was really beautiful. India, have you read more or consumed more media that has to do with stuff like this? And did you think this was a nicely done example of it?
Okay. No, I don't. I think that, first of all, I don't like everything about Erenik. She's like so like, can we use the term she's a simp here?
Sure.
She's a simp, and it bothers me because, but Breeze is fine too. He's just like, I just feel like it's like all about him like all the time, and I just like, that's not really a relationship. She's just obsessed, and he's just like loving the attention because he has no fucking family.
India, I have to say, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because from what I remember about the beginnings of their relationship, that is how I remember it. And I thought I just like maybe missed a moment in the books or something where they like have more of a, I mean, and obviously currently they do in this book and stuff. And there is stuff in the end of the last book, but like up until they like sleep together and then are open with their feelings, I feel like it's just Erenik being like, man, I wish Breeze would notice me.
Literally.
I mean, it is that. I would say there have been more scenes in this book where they have been, it has, I would say their relationship has gotten more nuanced in this book. They have
I would totally agree with you.
Yeah, okay. But they definitely did start off like that 100%.
Yeah. And it just like, I mean, you say that that you know, they get together because of circumstances and it's nice to have somebody. And I think that stuff makes sense. I just don't think that is how it read to me in the moment. It was just like, I wish that Breeze would give me a kiss, and then eventually she goes to his tent and then they're together.
Yeah. I mean, I would also
Isn't
argue
that we all wish would fucking happen?
Yeah.
Don't we all just wish for a kiss and then suddenly we have a boyfriend? Must be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bitter.
I have to tell you, I am shocked at the knives coming out for this beautiful young couple.
I think they're good now.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
To me, I totally hear what you're saying, and I'm not even disagreeing with any of it. But to me, it's easily one of the couples or like relationships in the book that like I like believe and understand, and it makes sense to me.
Yes,
you
Peter.
know?
Yes,
like
Peter.
when you talk about Pearl or Lestara Yill or something, I'm just, you know, that doesn't really, it never made sense. I don't really believe it. I've never been invested in that.
Every time you say that, I never believe, like that's wild to me. I like totally get that.
No.
Yeah, well, we can just be on different pages.
This
because
makes so much more sense.
These two to me, I like fucking get what's going on with these two. But I do agree with India. It is a little extra when Bryce asks her, oh, hey, Erenik, do you know how I died? What did you hear about it?
Yeah.
What were the deets you got? Let me tell you the real deal. You know, that's a little extra, but I really like this relationship. So
Peter, I would say what I liked is that it's the first time he's talked about it with anybody, and that is vulnerability that a lot of characters.
Oh, please,
oh, please, India. He fucking died and wandered to the bottom of the ocean for like countless eons in his time.
Lucky is he to be alive. 1, 2, honestly, this whole like relationship, as AJ kind of said, came out of fucking nowhere. Like, it was like a big crush, and now they're in love. And I just don't believe it, and I don't like it. And to be fair, most other relationships in this book are toxic. So you can't really compare it because they're all fucking toxic.
Okay, don't you say Crocus and Chalice are toxic. Okay.
Okay.
That is a love
And
story.
literally everyone are toxic because Crocus is toxic.
Crocus is the
That
toxic.
fucking got me.
Crocus is a fiend.
I forgot Crocus was a character till right now.
Oh my god.
Totally forgot.
Cutter.
Yeah.
Cutter. Sorry, Josh. Cutter.
Sorry.
No, he's Crocus again.
He's a killer now.
Yeah. I don't. Okay. If in an effort to sort of wrap us up, I think.
Please.
We didn't even touch on any of the Kachain Jamal stuff.
Doesn't matter. It's cool. It'll make more sense. Sorry.
Here's what I wanted to compare about a little bit. Josh, and you, like you asked me earlier a question about Tavor. I have no idea what the actual question was.
Which would be a better mother to a snake full of children, Tavor or Captain Kindly? It was a funny question.
All right, so not a mother, but Tavor is leading a group. The Bone Hunters are a group. Tavor is leading them.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's an interesting comparison here to be had because I do think they talk a lot about Tavor's leadership style and how she interacts with people as a general. And I think that's an interesting contrast when they're talking about Stormy and Gessler and controlling the K'chain Chamal and about how it's so mechanized and how it's about this biological process. Do you know what I mean? It isn't this kind of emotional, spiritual, organical morale, organic morale, whatever you want to refer to Tavor and how she is trying to interact and engage the soldiers, the Bone Hunters. You know, the soldiers of the K'chain Chamal are like, you know, it's pure biology in a sense, sometimes with the oils and stuff. That was the connection I made.
I think that's really astute. I don't have any. That's great.
What did we? Okay. What did we think about the talking about Stormy and Gessler's relationship?
That was great too.
It's really nice, and this thing about them saving their humanity because they're so close to becoming gods is really interesting. Yeah. I really hope they don't.
And then the stuff with Sin too.
I hope they don't become gods though, personally, but we'll see. The Sin stuff's crazy. I don't know how to feel about her still. She's tough for me.
Sin's psychotic.
Yes. And grubs her humanity, whatever.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a leech. He's a literal leech.
Whoa.
India's with the fucking hottest takes tonight.
Now, wait a minute. What do you mean that he's a leech?
No, she's a leech. She's a leech. She's sucking out everything.
Yeah, she's using him as like a human blood bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a juice box.
Way more on the same page.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, I was
like,
ready.
Wow, poor Grub. Fuck.
Yeah, ready to defend our boy Grub.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's fine.
He's doing great.
The boys, whatever.
Wait, can we also just discuss really quick? Didn't Grub's family get murdered and then he got found by this man? And then the man died too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Grub was a foundling on the field of battle, and there is speculation as to whether he ever was born to a mother in one part of the book series. That's the fucking wildest shit about him.
Yeah.
As opposed to what?
I guess actually what I would say is one of the least wild things about him because he's done a lot since then.
All right. Yeah. Sin sucks. Somebody needs to put her down.
Yes. And
bad news.
To wrap up this episode, like a big banner in the shape of Taeho's blanket.
That was a fun bit.
Thank you. I would like to ask everyone, very fun bit, very brief.
And when they're talking about the grief and them mourning their father, that was a very moving section. Sorry.
Lovely. It was
There's
awesome.
A part earlier where
really
Tool says, "I'll turn your dreams to dust." So that was cool.
Oh, that was good too.
So anyway, to wrap us up, everyone's going to get to add one thing, one item, one element to our imaginary banner that is 10 Very Big Books. If we were leading an army. AJ is thinking very hard.
This is a big moment.
So we have a banner. It's leading our army. We're going to have one element each. My element is that it will be a banner. It will be threaded in a way to seem as though it has a book binding on one end of it. Because it's on a pole, Indy, right? And so the side that's attached to the pole will be threaded to look like the binding of a book. And then the other side could be frayed, could be any kind of design over there. But binding the book on the pole shaft.
Yeah.
Okay.
AJ, are you ready or do you want to wait?
I feel like I should wait because mine has an energy.
Oh, God.
Is it 10 Very Big Books themed? Is that why you picked a book?
Yes, because this is the banner of our podcast army.
Oh, fuck.
Our army of listeners.
Josh,
yes,
I just need you to say what yours was again. I was so lost down the rabbit hole.
Okay, so I've got my big banner holder, and our banner is waving to the side, and the part of the banner attached to the holder is bound like the spine of a book, because we're the 10 Very Big Books podcast.
Okay, wow. I went in a really different direction with mine.
Excited.
Yours seems really on theme. I don't want to go next. I'm very embarrassed.
India?
That's hysterical, Peter. Mine would be this is so hard. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a quick one because I really can't think about it too much. Can't be too.
Are we not adding to Josh's banner? Aren't we
Yeah, we're adding to Josh's banner.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so I'm actually going to make. I don't know, Peter. You go. You already have yours. You already know what it is.
AJ has an energy though.
My contribution is whatever image is there. There's some text accompanying it, and the text says.
Oh no.
The text says MILFs only.
Okay,
Peter.
Mine was the silhouette of Ellen DeGeneres.
All right, Inyo, take us home. Take us home, India.
All right. I would then like hanging off the side to be.
Oh yes, please.
Tassels.
Okay.
But the tassels have human teeth at the ends of them.
Wow. Oh, really bringing us.
Whoa.
Really some mixed messages from this banner. Oh, I love it.
Josh, can you just give us the whole thing?
Yeah, so we have a thick banner carrying rod placed into the earth in front of our mighty army of listeners.
What color?
The pole, bone white.
Well, no.
And then, I'm getting to the banner. I'm on the pole. I'm not off the pole
sorry.
So then, attached to the banner, you see an intricate thread work in the shape of a book binding, and you see this glorious, huge banner. I'm gonna say it's puke green and maybe like Shrek green. Is that good? Shrek green.
I vote Kids' Choice Awards slime.
Kids' Choice Award GAC green, okay? And on it is a silhouette of ungenerous, underneath of which says MILFs only, and dangling from tassels throughout it, human teeth.
Wow.
There we go, everybody. We've got it. Look forward to our War Banner merch store opening soon.
Yes.
We'll be sign up
for the 10 Very Big Books militia. You'll need to know your height, weight, preferred arms and armament.
I don't want to start an army, guys. I vote against starting an army.
No, it's a civil battle force, Pete.
Yeah. We're not attacking, Peter. It's for our defense.
It's a strike force.
It's a strike force, please.
All right, someone in this episode.
It's you, buddy.
Is it me? All right. Well, that's been 10.
That's been 10 Very Big Books of Malazan Readthrough podcast.
Keep that pause in there, AJ.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of the show at. I sound like Daffy Ducks.
And you can reach us at 10verybooks@gmail.com. AJ's gonna do their whole spiel, but before we really leave you, what's that? Oh, howling on the wind, 10,000 wolves. They're all chanting the same thing. What are they chanting, Peter?
July 22nd, come to the Malazan stream of the fallen. Oh, please give to charity. There'll be books, guests, games. Enjoy.
Ow. Ow. Indy, you gotta do a wolf howl.
Ow.
And she's frozen. I thought that judgmental look was just there.
It's very funny.
All right. And that's going to be it for us here this week, folks.
3!
We got to say the ending.
We got to do the compassion. Let me fucking finish the episode. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here. It's been fun. You know how we end this. When I say come, you say passion. Ready? Come.
Passion.
What the fuck was that?
Really
Josh?
Uncomfortable by that. See ya.
I hated that.
I wanted it to be as uncomfortable as I could make it.
Hello, everybody. Producer AJ here. Very hungry for pizza that's in the oven. Yum, yum. Give pizza, please. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to give us your thoughts or feelings about this or any of our episodes, you can always email us 10verybigbooks@gmail.com, tweet us at 10verybigbooks, or you can head on over to our Discord, bit.ly/VBB Discord. That's capital V, capital B, capital B, capital D, Discord. That link is also in the show notes. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to financially support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/10verybigbooks. We are almost at $800 a month, which would be a really huge milestone for us and would really help make the stuff that we have planned in the future, mainly the stream, way easier to pull off in terms of tech and money spending stuff. So if you want to head on over to our Patreon, we would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That link is in the show notes. And as always, thank you so very much to Dan Yazarek for making our spectacular cover art. You can follow him on Twitter at @A_W_DanG for damn Trey. Thank you as well to Resident Paws and Claws, a Warrior Cats Read-Through podcast co-host Scout Wilkinson for the special art she is providing for this season. You can follow her on Twitter at HumbleGoat and on Ko-Fi at ko-fi.co/HumbleGoat. And of course, the wonderful music in today's episode, including the remixed intro and outro track, is by the one, the only Amaranthin from his album Simulant Rain, which you can find along with his other music on bandcamp.com. Links to their pages will be in the show notes, and 10 Very Big Books will be back in 2 weeks on May 12th, talking The Crippled God, Book 4, The Fists of the World. We'll talk to you then, and thank you so much for listening.
It was satisfying getting to watch someone read one of my dumb chapter summaries.
It's fun to read yours.
It was a different vibe.
Yeah, yours are fun. Yours are anyone that's not mine or Pete's. So Josh and India, your guys are fun to read.
What the fuck?
Well, you had a certain cadence and way that you do the chapter summaries, and I tried to mirror that without putting any of my personality into it.
It's not too late to change.
Yeah,
yours
mine don't have the flavor. Yeah.
Mine are boring too.
But I do like being a dramatic little boy and like editing these to somber music and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So they all have their values.
That sounds really cool, AJ. Is there anywhere someone could hear that or check out your work?
No, actually. I don't put it anywhere, so don't listen to it.
Okay.
Those are just for me and my 2,000 friends.
Call this man a socket the way he's plugging those streams.
All right.
Yeah. Josh, it's you, baby.
All right. I'm finishing my chocolate bar.
Oh, hell yeah. What kind of chocolate bar you got?
The Symphony Bar.
Fuck yeah.